Hey Life Academy and Tribe, welcome to week 3, Real Talk About Relationships. Week 1, I spoke to the women.
And last week, I spoke directly to the guys.
Today, we're switching it up and we're going to reverse the roles.
So ladies, I'm going to be talking to you today. I'm going to share with you a few things that I think you need to know from a man's point of view. Here's the first one. Just tell us what you're thinking. We don't guess well. If you don't tell us, honestly, we're walking around thinking or assuming everything is good, even when we shouldn't sometimes. But even if you're possibly even giving off some vibes that things aren't good, it's just so much easier to think, well, she didn't say anything, so let's just leave it alone. So ladies, you just have to say it. You have to say it clearly. You have to say it directly. Explain exactly what you're thinking or what you're feeling. Frankly, for us, you might need to use smaller words. You might need to speak slowly. You might need to repeat yourself a few times. And then finally, at the end, ask if we were listening, ask if we care, and ask if we understand. All this is good for us, and it's good for you too.
So, you really want us to talk to you more?
Yeah. You need to share what you're actually thinking. To walk around wondering is just tough. And it's good for you because we're going to assume it's fine even when you know it isn't. And maybe we can even sort of think it isn't, but it's just so much easier to assume. It's fine. So just tell us. Be straight up. We can handle it.
Okay, good. What's your second one?
My second one is this. We as men want to feel like we're respected. I think Arica taught about that. And really it means feeling like we're your priority. And I know you want that too from us, so it goes both ways. But you have to think about changing your own actions, right? You can't change ours, so you can change your own. And if you change, I'm hoping that your man, he changes too. That would be ideal. So what I'm going to ask you to do for us is to be present with us. For instance, you may have a job that's very time-consuming and energy-consuming and mind-consuming. You have a ton of house stuff going on that takes up all of your thinking and all of your time. You have a million things to do with the kids. You've got your phone interrupting you every 2 seconds with text messages or whatever. We want to feel like we're first. We just do. You probably do as well, but for me, this might be a little embarrassing to admit, but we had a child who was like 3 years old, and then we had another baby, and my wife was really, really a good mom. She was devoting herself to the kids and doing a fantastic job. We were just both figuring out how to be parents, just like everyone does. And I was feeling more and more disconnected from her. She was so committed to doing so well for the kids. I was feeling like she didn't care enough about me or didn't give me enough attention. And it's sort of lame, but I didn't want to say anything to her because it seemed so needy. It seemed like I was another one of her children to me. So I didn't say anything for a while, and for a few months I just felt like she didn't care and we weren't as close and all those negative things that can happen. And then finally I manned up and I told her what I was thinking and how I needed more of her attention, and she totally understood. She was great about it. I just needed to feel like I was as important to her as everything else, or possibly even the most important thing.
It's funny that you say that because when we first started talking about these lessons and stuff, at first this offended me a little bit, I gotta be honest, because as a mom and a wife and all these things, it is true, like after a long day, if you've worked all day in the laundry, the cooking, we're tired, and sometimes being with your husband is like another thing on the to-do list. So it's a perspective shift, I guess, right?
I guess. I don't want to be anything on someone's to-do list.
Yeah, I know. That's a good thought. Thank you for sharing that with us.
It should be like when you're dating, right? You had plenty of time for each other, speaking to both now, for each other when you're dating. You have all the time in the world. Don't let a ton of other stuff come in and push each other down any priority list at all. You shouldn't have to work so hard at it. You should want to be together. And for both of you, you need to present yourself in such a way that someone would want to be with you too.
Well, and I think that's what I was just going to say is it has to be mutual respect, mutual servanthood where you're helping each other out. It's not just the wife doing all the things or the husband doing all the things, but when you are mutually respected and respect each other.
Exactly. And men, I talked about these things with you. I said you should encourage your wife 10 times more than you criticize or advise. And if you're doing that, she'll want to be with you, right? So
and same is true for women.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Don't criticize as much as you should be encouraging. Yeah. Okay. What about number 3?
Ladies, you're going to like this one. We as men, we think you're better than you do. we think you're better than you think you are. You don't need to worry so much about everything. You don't have to have the perfect body, the perfect hair, the perfect outfit, the perfect makeup. We basically don't care. We just don't. We love you the way you are. You don't have to get so perfected up for us. You're stressing out about it way more than you need to.
That's good to hear, because as women, I think we all could use a little self-confidence, and most of us don't really feel that great about ourselves all the time. So it's good to know. It's really
we're with you for a reason. We like you. We like the way you are. We like the way you look. You don't have to stress so much about it. How about you now? Do you have something for the guys?
Oh, of course I do. So, guys, I want to start, you know me, by asking you a question. So, are you the type of husband your wife can't help but brag about? Are you the type of husband that your wife can't help but brag about? I think your answer to this question will tell you a lot about the kind of marriage you have. Or also what kind of friend or son or brother or man you are, I guess, to the people in your life. So today I'm going to give you some advice from a woman's perspective. Much of this talk is going to be asking you questions. Each of these questions are going to be available for you in your membership portal, so you don't have to be writing them down or anything. But I just want you to think about them, and then you can really dive into them a little bit later. So first one, question number 1. How do you speak to your wife? Check your language. Your words matter, and they matter a lot. Throwing the F word around may not affect you or may not affect the guys at work, but I guarantee you it affects her and it affects your kids.
I'm just going to interrupt right there. Man, words are trash, man. And when you're giving your worst words, your criticisms, your profanity to your wife, it's like you're dumping trash on her. You got to cut it out. God didn't make her for that. You didn't marry her for that. Get rid of your frustration some other way.
So how do you speak to her? How do you speak to her when it's just you and her alone? How do you speak to her when other people are around? Here's another one. How do you speak about her when she's not there? I think I said this in an email last week or a couple weeks ago. The first thing I remember when I met Mike and had him for coffee the first time is the way he spoke about his wife, Janet. There was not one doubt in my mind how much you loved her and respected her, and quite frankly, you just adored her. And that was kind of new to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear it all the time when I hang out with couples. Sometimes people speak very highly of each other, and sometimes they don't. And that's just not the way to be. You never want to say negative things about someone you care about to somebody else. It just doesn't work.
Right. So you should be building her up, not tearing her down. And you should be loving her like the daughter of God she is. If you need a little help with this, ask God. Ask God to help you see her from his eyes. And then ask yourself this: am I treating her the way God has called me to?
That's a good one for me, because I don't always treat my wife perfectly, but I think of that when I don't. I think that's God's daughter. God created her. She's a beautiful little flower for God that he made, and I'm treating her poorly. It scares me a little before God to treat his daughter that way.
Right, and if we think about your wife as God's daughter, I think here's another really powerful question is, am I treating my wife like I want a man to treat my own daughter someday?
That's a good question.
That almost gets me choked up thinking about it. And I hope it really does do something inside of yourself as well. Proverbs chapter 31:10 says, an excellent wife who can find? She's far more precious than jewels. Just check yourself. Is she, and are you treating her like she is a precious jewel to you? Another question, and this is just going to be short and sweet. Do you get angry and lose your temper? If you do, just get help. Please get help and get it now. And do it before it's too late.
And I'll just chip in there, guys. Your wife isn't the one, again, to vent all your frustration on. She just isn't. If you're speaking to her worse than you speak to a stranger or your coworkers, that's a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so here's one more. Guys, how do you feel about the intimacy in your marriage? Let's talk about sex for a minute, okay?
Now, I talked about this already when I talked to the guy. So I want to hear what you have to say, because if you remember, I was pretty clear about it. So let's hear what you
Yeah,
got.
I think I remember you saying something about a piece of meat, right? You said we're not a piece of meat.
Correct.
And quite honestly, sometimes that's the way we feel. That's just the truth. So here's what I have to say to you. Guys, we need a warm-up. And it's not the kind of warm-up you're probably thinking about. We need you to be kind. We need you to touch us without the intention of leading to somewhere else. We need you to hold our hand, to rub our feet, or massage our back, and don't expect anything in return.
A foot rub was one of my action steps for the guys a couple of weeks ago.
So, okay, that was probably last week.
Yeah,
Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet?
Foot massage. Come on, man. Put on our favorite television show, rub her foot for half an hour, feet 15 minutes each for half an hour. That'd be an amazing half hour for her, and it would be good for you too.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. If you're not already, help out around the house and with the kids, because this can be the best kind of foreplay. If you're not...
So what, vacuuming is sexy? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. For sure. At least for me. I don't know. I can't speak for all women, but I'm guessing I can speak for most of us.
So what? I can maybe stop working out and stuff and start vacuuming. I thought working out was sexy.
I'm pretty sure Janet would probably like you to vacuum more. I don't know.
All right, doing the dishes. That's
Ask
okay.
her.
Okay.
If you're not sure if your wife would like you to help out more around the house, just ask.
Okay, ladies, that's it. Okay, tell your man. You want him to work out or vacuum, wash the dishes, whatever it is. What's most sexy for you? Like I said earlier, you have to speak your mind. Go and tell him what's sexy.
There you go. And if you're not happy about anything in your marriage, including your level of intimacy, tell her. Talk about it. Invite God into the picture and pray about it together. So here's my next question. Do you take her for granted? Never, ever take her for granted. And I think sometimes as wives or spouses, we also take you for granted. So this goes both ways, I think.
It does. I mean, that's part of what I just talked about earlier about making the other person a priority.
Right. But, if you think back to when you asked her to marry you, you promised to be the man that would own her heart and to protect it, right? And quite honestly, this is the most important and sacred treasure you will ever be entrusted with, her heart. She chose you, so don't forget that. And God chose you to be together, possibly. And don't ever get lazy. Don't ever get lazy.
And it's easy. It's easy for all of us to get lazy at times when it just doesn't become a priority. We both, men and women, need to make each other the priority all the time. It's easy to slip.
Yeah, right. And you know what? Just laugh more. Have fun. And having fun is a gift too, but sometimes that gets put aside as well. So have fun. Treat her as a valuable gift. And before we wrap it up, I need you to hear this one last thing. This one, listen closely. Please, please, please protect your own heart. I hope you know what I'm talking about here, that there is a special place in your heart where no one should be able to enter except your wife.
Hold on. A moment ago I said we need to speak clearly to dudes. So to hope they know what you're talking about could be a mistake. So I'll just be real clear about it for you. Okay, dudes, I'll translate. No other woman or no other thing should have your heart. If you feel that happening, if something has distracted you in your attention, if it's something online, if it's another person in real life, you got to cut that out. That's a place for your wife. And it can be tough. I know it can be tough. But ask for some help. Get some help. I'd be happy to help you. But there's a special place for your wife in your heart. And for ladies, there's a special place for your husband as well.
Right. And it is so common for both men and women. So like Mike said, ask someone to help you because it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. Keep that space ready and to receive her and invite her into it. And please try to refuse anything to enter. And women, that goes for you too. It's just not for men.
And frankly, whatever your problems are, whatever you're struggling with in your relationship, it's not rare. We basically all struggle with the same sort of set of things. So ask for help. Talk to a friend you're close enough to, or a family member, or see a counselor, see one of us, whatever it may be. You're not strange. There's nothing wrong with you. We all go through the same stuff. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help from somebody else, though.
Yeah, and I think to have a goal to be the type of husband or wife or friend or family member that your person and your people, they can't help but brag about. Yeah. Let's have that be our goal. Now,
yeah, C's get degrees in school. We all know that, right? C's don't work in a relationship. You want to have an A-level relationship, not a C. Don't shoot for C's.
Right. And again, we're here to help you, and there are plenty of other resources out there as well. But as a gift to you this month, we want to offer you something. when we counsel couples, we have them take this really cool relationship assessment.
It's online, super easy to do. You each do it separately on your own. It takes maybe 20 minutes to do at your computer.
Right, and so what this does is this is a tool that measures areas in your relationship, areas where you're weak and areas where you're strong. And then what we do is we use that tool to help you work on the issues that you struggle with the most.
And here's the key. There's like a dozen different areas. It talks about everything: finances, sex life, parenting, everything, all the different things. Extended family relationships, biggest like 12 areas of your life. And then it just compares what each of you are thinking. There isn't necessarily a right way to do each of those things. What this survey does is gets you both on your same page. So you two share the same page together. It's not some page that's prescribed for you. It's you two getting on a page you both like. That's why it's so good. I've used it for years and years and years.
Right, and so there is a small cost for this because the online assessment is not free. It's not free to us either. So as a gift to you this month, the cost for this will be $75. What this includes is the online assessment and then one meeting with one of us to go over your results.
And we can do that in person here in our counseling office, or we can certainly do it in a Zoom meeting as well if that works for you.
Right, and if you find that time valuable working with us, we would love to dive deep into your relationship and guide you both in whatever direction or help you need.
Okay, I know I'm supposed to be talking to ladies in this, but dudes, I got to come back to you again. If you really want to improve your relationship, if you've been struggling, fighting, whatever, as someone suggested counseling, whatever it is, suggest this to your wife. Just say, listen, I think it'd be really great for us to take this assessment. You can do 20 minutes at the computer for an assessment. And then we're going to get together once and talk about it. And you two are going to work on your relationship together with just a bit of guidance. Suggest it yourself. That will help tremendously.
Yeah, and the cost is less than probably going out to dinner together.
Definitely. Or getting your hair done, ladies.
Well,
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So we really hope that you guys are getting some valuable things out of these discussions that we're having. I think we just have to add that neither one of us are perfect. I certainly did not have the perfect marriage or was the perfect wife, and I think you could probably...
Hey, yeah, we're kind of old, so we've learned this through a lifetime of a relationship, and also through counseling others for years and years and years and years. We've learned all this through experience. We're certainly not perfect, but we can share ways that will help you.
Yeah, and I feel like God has called us, we both feel that God has called us to help people like you in relationships to just thrive and to learn how to live your best life. So let us know, send us an email, and let us know when you would like to get together, and we are happy to give you that gift this month.
Have a great week.